All right, welcome back to week 2 of Foundations of Research Design. What I want to do right now is clarify some confusion that always happens about now. For week 2, what I'd like you to do is 2 different assignments. One, complete the certification for using ethical use of human subjects. That is not a course requirement per se, but you will need that in your coursework eventually. So I'd like you to start that. If they charge you anything, please don't pay it and let me know. You shouldn't have to pay anything. The assignment for this week is really just the research topic and an explanation of the topic. You know, why it interests you, why it's important, and go ahead and start your literature review. Start with 5 pieces of literature related to your topic. At the end product, people always ask me, what is the minimum number of references? There is no minimum. There is no minimum number of pages or words. I want it to do the job. It has to have function. The references in your literature review lay the foundation to explain the topic, to explain the literature that surrounds your topic, and identifies a gap in the literature that you're hopefully going to fill. So let's say you're a mechanic and you're writing a dissertation on the internal combustion engine. You want to get literature that describes the engine. What do we know about it? So you want to go into the carburetor and fuel injection, and, the pistons and the lifters and all that, and then how it all functions, and then what's missing. What do you want to add to the research base, to the knowledge base of that specific category. So I'm not going to count articles in your literature review, but I'm going to see if it functions. So if you go into your paper and I'm reading, and you talk about a certain topic and how important it is, and I scan the literature review and it's not mentioned, I'm going to bring it to your attention. Say, if you're going to mention this is important, it needs to be part of the literature review. You need to have that foundation. Why is it important? Tell me why, and who says so, what book, what article. Okay, so if you have 5 at the end of the course, it's fine. If you have 25, that's fine too. It's a function. Okay, however many references you need to do the job. All right, so for this week, what I do want you to do is hand in a research topic and talk about it, talk why it's important to your field, whether it's education or business. For those of you in the business class, I'm sending you, or I sent you this morning, a different set of PowerPoints that address what we're going to be talking about now. So disregard the PowerPoints that are in Canvas. This is for the business students. There's a whole lot of overlap that applies to all disciplines, so keep that in mind. So for this week, I want a paper that goes into your research topic, explain it, talk about it. Do include your literature review if you started it. If you haven't, that's all right. It's going to be a work in progress. I'm going to give you the final grade for it at the end of the course, but I'll give you feedback along the way. Okay, so topic and literature review, and we'll be adding to that same document as time goes by. Okay, so let me get rid of that. Let's go into the PowerPoint. And again, those of you in business, you can follow along with the PowerPoint that I sent actually this morning. Okay, so elements of formulating a research topic. Okay, so you want to choose a specific topic, and from there you can perhaps generate a hypothesis. Okay, identifying a research topic. It needs to be suitable. How do I, what aspect are you most interested in your discipline? What do you like most about your profession, and what questions do you have in the field? And that's the starting point. Sketch it out with a piece of paper and a pencil. Okay, and a lot of them you're just going to scratch out and say, no, this is going to work or not. Okay, where can I get my ideas? The educational, professional theories, professional experiences, existing studies to replicate, and this is kind of something that a lot of students don't want to do because it's a study, and why would I want to replicate it? But remember, in the scientific process, studies are encouraged to be replicated because you want to check somebody's work. Remember Einstein, who was a super genius guy, has a lot of his work replicated because they want to see if it really works. After all these years, If it's true, it's going to be true now and 100 years from now. So why not replicate it and see if it still holds, to modern scrutiny? With what we're talking about with global warming, what bothers me about that, and I'm not a denier, but what a lot of people, proponents of global warming will say, the science has been done. You don't have to look at it anymore. Take my word for it. It exists. It happens. No, a true scientist will say, let's replicate it. And if it's true, it should show up in every other study that we show. And that's very important in the scientific method. So most students in a doctoral program, they say, well, why on earth would I want to replicate somebody else's study? Well, you want to verify it. You want to apply your knowledge and your skills to it. So that don't exclude that right off the bat. In professional training, that's another source. Okay. Is it personally acceptable? Do you like it? All right. Is it researchable and answerable? Okay, when you sketch it out, think about the work that you're going to have to put into it. Can I find these data? Can I answer the question? What's the meaning of life? Do you really want to do that research? You can ask people, and they might have 100 million different attitudes. Is it really answerable? Probably not. Well, don't do it. Is it current? Is it relevant? Is it acceptable to your institution? Now that's two things: your school, Alliant, and also where you're going to collect the data from. So if you're going to go into a business or a school and say, I'd like to do this study, will I have access to these data? And sometimes they'll say yes, and sometimes they'll say no. And then we'll get involved, and we can call them and write them a letter and say, this student, is going to do this and that, and the data they're collecting, that we're going to protect it. And then most of the time they say it's okay. Is it feasible? Is it practical? And is it ethical? That's why we're doing the IRB use of human subjects this week. You have to weigh the benefits of your study to the potential dangers to your subjects. So ostensibly, you might say, well, there's no danger. All I'm going to do is ask them this question and that question. But then that has to be weighed against what benefit is there in your study. If there's really no benefit to anybody, it happens, then the IRB board might say, well, then we're not going to give you permission to do it. Even though you're only asking, let's say, the preferences in, lollipop flavors. Okay, you're going to be asking 100 subjects about lollipop flavors. And you're thinking, well, I can't put them into danger by doing that. How can I put them in danger? But on the other hand, if there's no benefit to anybody or anything around the world in any way, they're going to probably turn it down. And you say, well, wait a minute, I didn't put them in danger. Yeah, but there's no benefit. Now, if you say, well, the benefit is we can figure out what taste they like so that we can improve the product and people, the consumers are happier and the business owners are happier. There is some benefit to people, and that far outweigh any risk to asking them what the flavor is. Then they'll probably say, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. The benefit outweigh the risk. Go ahead and do the study. They'll give you permission. So very important to weigh those two out. Okay, stating the research topic. Okay, variables and the relations. Purpose of the study. Example, the purpose of the study is to investigate the relationship between levels of anxiety and performance, and that could apply to any discipline. These are a couple of examples of the type of research topic. Formulating your hypotheses. Hypotheses should state the expected outcome or relation. Then it must be testable. Okay. Okay, and you're going to go specific, and then you're going to go general, and then you're going to go specific again. It's typically not linear where you're saying, I want to know this very specific thing. As you're doing your literature review and as you're developing your study, it'll broaden out, and then you have to narrow it back down. Okay, so that's very typical of a study. You might want to say, I want to know what makes people sick. That's very broad. And then you want to say, well, specifically, I want to know how people contract colds. And then you go into more specific, well, what is a cold? And how am I going to quantify that? How am I going to measure that? How am I going to observe that? Am I going to count the number of sneezes per day, etc.? Okay. So when you're considering a topic, it's very typical for it to go to very broad to very specific and then go very broad again. But that's okay. Okay. Stating preferences. Well, look at these examples, and they're pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so this is important too. So, statement of topic to research question. So, when you're writing the paper, you're going to go, like topic might be, getting a cold is something that keeps people away from school, keeps people away from their work. It's very important. We need to, mitigate the effects of colds on people. Okay, so how do you make that into a research question? Your research question could be: there's a strong relationship. Is there a strong relationship between the number of colds per year and school achievement or profits in a business? So you're looking at the phenomenon, colds, good or bad. And then the research question is there an impact on some variable? So it's going to, the variable could be school achievement or profits in a business. Okay. Yeah, and then write the purpose of the study is to investigate attitudes towards peer feedback, and what are their attitudes for feedback, and do attitudes evolve over time? Those are all different questions that you can get out of your topic. So, let's look at back. A topic is clearly stated. The conversion to a research question is relatively easily achieved. Let's look at this one specific example. The purpose of the study is to explore the barriers that recently arrived ELD, English language developed students encounter as they adjust to a new cultural environment. For business, I said foreign workers coming to the new country as they adjust, as they assimilate. And then that gets translated into what are the barriers faced by foreign workers or ELD students. So the top one is very general. To explore the barriers, of newcomers to this world. Okay. Now what about them? Okay, the barriers faced by them as they adjust to a new environment. More specific. Okay. So that covers that, and I will be doing the other PowerPoint here for our second video.